Cette petite et si jolie main, mon cher ange, à ton doigt je passerai bientôt là.
Hey guys, welcome back. Let's continue this little countdown. Flip your pad of paper over. We'll start a new one. I'm going on The Sins of Dracula. This came out, this was a new release, 2014. Basically these, Billy wants to, he joins this theater group, and this theater group basically just summons Count Dracula.
That's smart.
Like, that's kind of what they do, and then they have to, will he survive, kind of deal, and...
I guess some things go really bad.
Well, it's kind of funny, because the Dracula, the Count Dracula character, I don't remember his name offhand, but he really does remind me of, like, a John Carradine kind of character.
Nice.
Like, very, very resemblant of John Carradine.
You mean,
so
like, looks like him too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
You can kind of see him on the back of that.
Oh yeah, he does. Nice.
And it is kind of a cool movie. Like, they got Dracula's coffin backstage, and they do all these things as a performance, which realistically you're just summoning him. But it's a pretty cool modern take. I actually did enjoy that movie. It's pretty cool.
Cool. We have from Hammer Films.
God damn these Hammer Films.
From '71, we have Twins of Evil. The Devil Has Sent Me. Ooh. Great Hammer film. Playboy centerfold models. Yeah, they're twins. That's what pretty much these movies are known for. Is
the hot women.
Yeah, and
Peter
Cushing is he plays a really good role in this movie. Like he pretty much plays a witch finder.
I am Matthew Hopkins.
Yeah, sort of. He kind of plays it around that, like that kind of mentality where he's doing the Lord's work, or at least he thinks, but he's actually a really cruel mother Canucker. You know what I mean? So like he really
talk to your mother with that mouth.
He really just kind of comes across as being a douchebag, man. But as the film progresses, he becomes more of a hero type character. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Twins of Evil is great, man. Like, definitely one of the best Hammer films in my opinion. Probably one of my absolute favorites. Twins of Evil, so yeah.
Alright, moving on to another classic of the 70s. This was 79. 79. Yeah. Salem's Lot, Mr. Barlow himself. Man, this and Nosferatu is very, very, you can tell, very closely knit with vampire looks.
Absolutely.
Mr. Barlow, man, this movie scared the ever-living shit out of me as a kid. I got this from the library locally here, and when I first saw him, all I ever remember, and there were a lot of parts of this movie when I watched it later when I understood horror films a little bit better, and I wasn't, running under my blanket. It was, I always remember the scene where they're in his crypt in the basement, and he walks in there, and you just see like him crawling, those things crawling at him.
Yeah.
And then he opens the coffin, and he just wakes up in that. Oh man, that scared the shit out of me.
Blue-green face, fucking just Nosferatu.
That face,
the face of horror.
And then we, of course, had Return to Salem's Lot.
That was a good one as well. That was a fun one.
It's really just a well-made film. It is just creepy. I'm not going to say the word.
Reggie Nadler plays Mr. Barlow, who also was in Mark of the Vampire. He's actually a real-life scar victim.
Yeah.
And he really sells it in that as Mr. Barlow.
It's just definitely...
Danny Glick at the window. That part always got me.
And of course this came from Tobe Hooper.
Yes.
Of course from Texas Chainsaw Massacre and things like that. It's Cujo.
Absolutely.
Poltergeist, all that other shit. So, definitely. Cool. If you don't know Salem's Lot and you love horror films, just something wrong with you.
Good Stephen King adaptation, I thought. Right up there with The Shining.
Very creepy ass book too. Yes. Read the book. That'll scare the pants off you more than the movie.
I have Mario Bava's classic Black Sabbath. Now, we've talked about this movie religiously in many horror cast pasts, but the story I'll concentrate on for vampirism is The Warlock. Great band as well. Thank you, Killjoy. But Boris Karloff plays the Warlock, and he can only survive on the blood of the ones he loves. And it just gets a little bit nasty.
Just a tad, yeah.
Yeah, and he's creepy the way he looks. He's grizzled. He's
got the great.
Yeah, he's like blood dripping down. Oh man, he's great. Boris Warlock, check it out. I'm the band. Go
check them out too. All right, Nicolas Cage.
A horror episode in Nicolas Cage. Wow.
Never thought you'd see that.
Let's grip in the bottom of the bottle now.
Vampire's Kiss.
Never seen
Another funny one. Jennifer Beals is in this as well. Basically, it's another vampire movie kind of based in the big city of New York. Really, just he's trying to woo this woman. Basically, the same thing as Love at First Bite. Not really much of a different story, just a different director, different actor. So, really, you're not missing a whole hell of a lot.
One of my all-time favorite horror vampire franchise, Subspecies 1, 2, 3, and Not Pictured 4, Bloodstorm. Great movie. Hannes as Radu Vladislas. He's right up there with Lugosi, Christopher Lee. Yeah, Romanian atmosphere in the graveyard. Just... these movies are so great. Ted, if I say this wrong, Ted Nicolado, he also was the cameraman, I believe, in that original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so he's definitely got some...
credentials?
Yeah, absolutely. But Subspecies series is his creation, and I really hope they bring Radu back. I know there's a rumble coming around with Subspecies 5, and I hope it happens, because 4... was a great film, and I would just love to see the series live on. But this is one of my all-time favorite. Full Moon as well.
Yeah.
Series, I love it. Radu is the shit. God damn it.
That's how you really feel.
He's fucking great.
All right, can't do that. All right, I have to do one of Skid Gore's favorite movies, Monster Squad.
Oh.
We're not going to talk too much about it, but basically he steals an amulet. An amulet. And Dracula really want... You had your moment last week.
Yes, I did. It's your turn.
Or last time. Basically steals an amulet from this tomb or whatever the hell you want to call it. And Dracula wants it back. So that's kind of why...
Give me the amulet, you bitch!
And that's kind of why it's put in here, because it does have the throwback to the Universal Monsters, and obviously talking Dracula is definitely one of them. Very unforgettable. I'm sure we'll be talking about this.
Definitely one-liners from hell on that one.
Wolfman's got nards.
Absolutely. Don't be such a chicken shit. Vampire Journals, another Ted... what I said in that last one. Subspecies Guy. I just call him Subspecies Guy.
Ted Subspecies Guy.
Ted Subspecies Guy. Great Vampire Journals as well. Full Moon. Good vampire film.
Alright, Embrace of the Vampire. This is a very an erotic take. It goes back to the gothic idea, gothic tale of it. Good movie. I don't really remember too much of it, but I do know it is a good movie. It does have some CG to it, obviously. A lot of these new kind of movies, they got to make it scary, thinking CG's going to work. But there is some cool practical stuff in there, so Lust for a Vampire, or Embrace the Vampire. Sorry, not Lust for a Vampire.
That's coming, actually.
That's the wrong movie.
We have Nosferatu the Vampire from 1973, starring Claudius Kinski in the immortal role.
Yes.
Oh man, this guy is a creepy motherfucker. Fucking gives homage to Shrek as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of my favorite Werner Herzog films. He's made many.
Yes.
Not even just horror, just like cinema in general.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And Claudius Kinski and him had the ultimate love-hate relationship. But they got along on this one, and it really shows the acting in this is great.
Well,
It's a very creepy film. I mean, this film is the opening just with the skulls.
Oh yeah.
You know, the music alone in this film is just terrifying.
Klaus Kinski has a knack for playing a lot of like where they did the Ripper and
Yeah.
you know he's such a
Renfield and Count Dracula.
Yeah, he's such a creepy guy and he plays it so well.
Yeah, definitely. Nosferatu the Vampire. Definitely check that one out. You'll find that one in many of his true books.
Oh, we are going another side.
Oh,
we almost
boy.
forgot about this one.
Jesus H. Christ, what a monstrosity Ghouls got.
32.
Yep.
Vampire. This is the one you don't ever hear about. Nobody talks about this movie.
Earl Dreyer, baby.
Very underrated. It's a Danish film. Yeah, of course.
Oh, no
He's a Danish filmmaker, yeah. Man, this, I mean, you want to talk... God damn it, I gotta say it. Atmosphere. This is so much in it, like the bell ringer and holding that sickle. And just the scene looking over the ocean or water, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
The fog. And man, this movie is so creepy.
Definitely.
The mood, it's like dreamlike. It's so weird.
Very dreamlike.
But it's so... I don't know how you really categorize it. It's just...
That burial line scene is in so many countdowns.
Man.
The old woman... that film is basically based on a Sharon Levenue story, a Victorian writer in Irish Times called Carmilla.
Yep.
And that's one of the first film adaptations of that story ever. Kind of like lesbian type tendencies with vampirism. And he shoots it out of the park, Carl Dreyer. Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely, man.
And the sugar part at the
he gets buried in it.
Yeah.
Just keeps pouring, and that's the creepy thing. If you're claustrophobic and you're watching his stuff, just pour down on him, and you just see him like. And the scene is so long. It reminds me of like those Family Guy segues where it's just like the cutaways and they take fucking forever. It just reminds me because it's just filling up and you're watching this and it's like, oh man, like just being stuck in there. But yeah,
you know, if it's a Criterion, you know it's a classic.
Oh, it's a long. It was actually long lost, I think, for a long time that people thought it was. But yeah, glad to see it got a good release.
Talk about an underrated film. Now everyone knows George Romero for the Dead series and shit like that, but Martin is a great vampire film. A really good psychological study too. Mr. Romero has stated in many interviews that this is actually one of his favorite films he's ever done, and rightfully so.
Yep.
I early screen credit Tom Savini is in this as well. Kind of weird to see him without a mustache. Looks really young in this one. He also did the effect where the stake goes through Martin's heart.
Yep.
Iconic scene, man. Really cool movie. Like, you know, this teenager thinks he's a vampire, and I like how it's played out because, you know, it has flashbacks to like vampirism, and then it's present day, so it like jumps back and forth. So you don't know whether this is all in his mind, like it's psychological, like. Is he really think he's a vampire, or is he really a vampire?
Yeah.
You know, it's
very well written.
Very well written. George Romero, Martin, check it out. That one definitely is a must-hear from Silent Hill.
Going back, Satanic Rites of Dracula of 73.
Yep.
One of my favorite ones, obviously, as you could tell. We represent with that. I always liked this movie. I always just remember, of course, the image where Christopher Lee in the rose bush. Weirdest way to die.
Yep.
He's trying
The Hawthorn tree.
He chases into him and gets stuck in it.
That's actually the last ever Christian Lee pair-up Dracula and Van Helsing.
Yep.
It's kind of sad, too.
And it's cool, though, because like the opening scene, like they go into that room, like it's almost like this cult going on, and the table with the Baphomet and the sacrifice table.
Really good
like,
black
it was
mass.
It was really well done actually for a film of its time. I mean, shit. I mean, yeah, you had a lot of the foreign films that came out that had that black mass type atmosphere, but
definitely.
Satanic Rites of Dracula, probably one of the most, I guess you could say. I don't know what the hell the word for it is. Like,
That was definitely that was the last. Like,
well, I'm just saying in now's turn, because it's a free movie. Nobody owns this movie actually, so anybody can make it.
Oh, public
domain.
Yeah.
And
like Night of the Living Dead, shit like that.
So there's there's 10,000 of these copies you can find around. But definitely, it's a great movie though. It really is.
It's good, man. It's fucking great. Those vampires in the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good modern one. Really, this is called Midnight Sun. This is a really good movie, man. For modern vampire films go. Like, I know a lot of people give modern vampire films shit. No, Twilight fucking bullshit and fucking all that crap. But this is really good love story done right. Really good vampiric plot in this one. Yeah, this one's all good all around. Check it out. Midnight Sun.
Of course, nothing would be without Wes Craven. Vampire of Brooklyn. It's an ebony tale. It's more of a suburban type movie based on it. Eddie Murphy. You know, usually everybody thinks him Nutty Professor, things like that, but he actually played a vampire. It does have some comedic elements to it. It's a chill out comedy kind of deal. It's kind of laid back, you know. It's got this element where Dracula's almost like this, like a pimp, you know, kind of like, hey, like everything's gonna be okay, kind of deal. And and Wes Craven, man, not a lot of people talk about this movie of Wes Craven, rest in peace. And you know, it is a good movie. Like I said, it's blaxploitation, you know, whatever it is. It's an ebony film, so
good homage to like Blackula.
Yeah, definitely. I
think that's what they were kind of going for.
Yeah, it's a rehash of Blackula.
Usually like an African American as a vampire. That's pretty cool. At Dawn They Sleep from Brian Poland. Now, if anyone's ever watched our show, we know how much we love Brian Poland and Morbid Vision films. Here at Descent into Horror Hell, this one is no exception. This was a great film. Go vampires, really gory, good black metal shit.
Very gory.
Yeah, a lot of black metal stuff.
This is like Morbid Visions. If you ever watch any of their movies, it's gore.
Yeah.
And not to mention that Brian Poland looks like a very young Meatloaf in this movie. I can't get over that.
If you're watching, I apologize, Brian.
But he does. I can't help it.
His hair was long.
Yes, and he was all kind of puffy. He looked like Meatloaf. But that thing of like that one scene where the guy's like face is like got that boil and it's bubbling on there. That's so cool.
That part where he's talking about Lars Ulrich. I like to stick that right up Lars Ulrich's ass. Oh, that's funny.
All right. Off the television series Dark Shadows, Barnabas.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one that they had the vampires curse. Of course, you know, the Dark Shadows, a huge film of the 60s and 70s.
Dan Curtis.
I mean, man, this was like... And, you know, these movies kind of offshoot. They had some ghost movies. They had vampire movies. They had wolf movies. They had a little bit of... You know, it was like the offshoot. Vampire's Curse, though, was kind of cool. It's, you know... you know, what is it? Vampire Barnabas Collins.
Barnabas is shit.
And, but yeah, it's, you know, if you know Dark Shadows, you kind of get the gist of it. It's a very gothic story.
So. Vampires done. Herschel Gordon Lewis style and A Taste of Blood. Great movie, but incredibly long.
Yeah.
And even Herschel, when he was alive, I'll know the rest in peace. Jesus Christ, man, everyone's dying. Said this movie was great. He loved doing it, but it was way too long.
Oh yeah, he talked.
But it's great. It's great, man. Give it a chance. Taste the Blood.
The House That Dripped Blood, another Hammer great. And the
Amicus.
Amicus, sorry.
Yep.
And this was it's a trilogy basically. There's not a trilogy, but there's it's an anthology. And the third story is all about vampires and Ingrid Pitt. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Another rest in peace.
Basically, I gotta remember the story. I remember certain parts of it. I don't necessarily remember the whole story.
So where the dude gets a vampire's cloak
Oh, that's right. He puts it on. He turns into a vampire. And he flies around. It's little.
And no, she puts it on, and then she
flies down from the banister or whatever it was.
Gets else.
There's bits and pieces. I remember this movie. I just remember this movie was hard as shit to find for the longest time.
Yeah, it was.
That was like the cover with Christopher Lee's head severed on a plate. Just always great.
Actually, that's Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing. Sorry. Yeah.
I have Guillermo del Toro's Kronos. Definitely amazing depiction of vampirism from Mexico. Good Criterion version. If you can get this version, this is the best version to get because you really get a lot for your buck. You know, as Criterion usually does.
They do everything.
Yeah. Just storyboards and, you know, get interviews with all the cast. And it shows Guillermo del Toro's love of the horror genre, and he tried to bring something unique to the vampire genre. And he knocks it out of the park with Kronos. Classic film. Love it.
Alright, I'm doing Dracula Reborn. This was a Phase 4 film from 2012. Basically, this guy loses his wife to a vampire, and he teams up with a vampire hunter to basically descend down, I guess, into hell or whatever.
Horror hell.
And descend to horror hell. And basically goes to try to basically reclaim his wife. Really not much of a storyline.
I actually have that one. I just never watched it. I'll check that one out.
It's alright.
Oh, we have a classic here.
From George Clooney.
From Dusk Till Dawn. Oh, and Juliette Lewis.
That bar scene, man.
Yeah, and of course, Tom Savini himself. What the hell is his name? Is Dead Sexy or?
Yeah.
One of my friends would know that. I forgot.
Yeah.
What it is. Great film. Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn. Come on, guys. You should at least.
All right. John Carradine is in the House of Dracula.
Yeah.
The five monsters. You got the mad scientist. You got Wolfman. You got Frankenstein. You got Dracula.
All the goodies. And
they all kind of end up in a house, I guess. So this is what, 43? No, 45.
Yeah, 40s it.
45.
John Carradine. Good stuff. Now, we talked about Sharon Levinou's Carmilla story. This is another one loosely based on it called The Blood Spattered Bride from 72, yes. Great film about lesbians. Brilliant.
Alright, guys. We'll take another break. And when we come back, we'll do the fourth quarter of these. Hope you guys can stick with us. I know we're having a lot of fun. We might even throw a little special treat in there for you. Just to kind of keep you entertained. You never know.
Check it out.
So until that, we'll be back.
Going on, horror fans. Let's keep this shit rolling with the vampires.
Quarter 4. This is over. We're not going to have an overtime. I think we're going to be good.
Nah, this is a pretty long one, but like we said, you know, vampires have been around since the beginning of horror cinema, so this is a pretty interesting episode, I think.
How do you think it's been for us? Jesus Christ, man.
From 72, we have The Bride's Whore Blood. I just love that title. I remember having the big box of this. Still do, actually. It's beat the shit, but glad they kept that original art. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you an idea what the movie's about. Pregnant with the vampire child, takes a sheet of glass, sticks it in her belly. Fun time, man. Great film.
Yeah.
Good 70s vampire cheese.
Alright, Midnight Kiss. This is from 1993, so we got an early 90s one. It's a supernatural type vampire film. Basically, this girl falls for this detective, and then they have to kind of go hunt down this vampire because the vampire becomes jealous. It's
never good when a vampire
yeah,
gets jealous.
it's kind of a quirky, weird one, but a lot of fun.
Blackula! Hail Black Prince.
William Marshall.
Yes, another rest in peace. Blackula.
That's a good one.
Great blaxploitation horror film. Need I say more? You got Black.
And that was the first. That was the first time that gay men had been in a horror film or in a film.
Was it the first time?
Yeah, because he he bit those two gay men. That was the first time
That's right. Yeah.
That was the first time that actual gay men were in a film like that.
I don't know it was the first, but
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
remember reading about that somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, Blackula and Scream, Blackula, Scream, William Marshall, great actor.
Great movies.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing Transylvania 6-5000.
Oh, God.
Jeff Goldblum. These guys basically work as reporters, and they're on their way to Transylvania, and they run into all these idiotic, weird, decrepit people, and they get all this like dirt on Count Dracula himself. So when he gets up there, they have like all this dirt, so he kind of has to do what they tell him and things like that. It's a lot of fun.
Remember that movie being on Comedy Central a lot when I was a kid?
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Frank Langella as Dracula in Dracula 1979. Also, Donald Pleasance is in this film as well. I thought Frank did a good job as Dracula. He had more of a sex appeal, I guess, for the ladies. But that was really seductive about him because he could, kind of get in any situation and turn anyone into a vampire, especially the buxom beauties. You know what I mean? This was a good one. Frank Langella's Dracula.
Sorry, I gotta clean out my fang.
Too much blood.
It's coagulating, like, in the corner of my mouth. Alright. John Carradine, again, Count Dracula, or Dr. Dracula. This was from 80. Sorry. 1980. It's about a school of movie makers, and they basically make a movie about Count Dracula, his story, his life kind of deal, and he actually comes to life.
Sure, that doesn't end up well.
And he comes back to life, and, it never ends well, but...
No.
It's actually a pretty cool movie, though. John Carradine, of course, is in it. Regina Carroll, which I don't remember what the hell movie she was in. Something from the 70s, I remember, but...
We have a really, from 2014, this was a really, really good one. Won a lot of awards, and rightfully so. A girl walks home alone at night. Shot entirely in black and white, so you totally get that whole German expressionism type feel to it. And, man, this one was really well done, really good acting. I highly would recommend for modern vampire films, A Girl Walks Home at Night, for sure. That was a good one.
Now I got a twofer. Dracula's Daughter and Son of Dracula. Kind of in the same idea of House of Dracula, Dracula's Daughter.
Dracula's siblings pack, pretty much.
Yeah, basically. Of course, what the hell am I thinking of here? Lon Chaney is in The Son of Dracula.
Spells his name backwards, Alucard.
Yep. So basically, it's a family reunion of Dracula films.
And Gloria Holden's is Dracula's daughter.
Yeah.
That's one of the first female monsters, really. I mean, Dracula's daughter's pretty much just turned that on. It's great stuff. Here's another really good modern vampire film from 2012 called Kiss of the Damned. It's got a really it's kind of goes back to the movie vampires, stuff like that from the movie vampires from the 70s, which I'll get into at some point. In this list from hell, but yeah, this was a really good one. Good modern take on vampirism. Really good shit.
Now, I was going to save this, but might as well just do it. 1931's the original Dracula. Now, we knew this was going to come up. It's just cliche to put this at the end of some big, finale. But this is what's... not started at all, but this is what really put Dracula itself, the character, the image, on the map. This is kind of when people will talk about Dracula, they talk like that. Because this is the first speaky, the first talkie, I guess.
Yep.
So this is how people actually knew what Dracula sounded like. So obviously...
Suave evening clothes and sex appeal.
So he's got this kind of like, want to, have a party. This was kind of like, and obviously Bela Lugosi didn't know English that well.
Nope. Hungarian.
And, but yeah, this movie we could obviously talk about forever.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it.
if you don't know Dracula, you really shouldn't be watching this, honestly.
So, the original 1931's Dracula.
Yep. A little more modern one here from 2010. This is a really good movie with Sam Neill and Ethan Hawke. Willem Dafoe's in this as well. It's called Daybreakers. This is one of my personal favorite modern vampire films. I think definitely in the top 5. This is a really good one.
All right. Next up, we're on Dark Sky 2010 Stakeland.
Oh, good movie.
Basically, a vampiric plague takes over, and basically just kind of turning people against one another, and they have to kind of go out and take care of the issue or the problem with the survivors and stuff.
It's a pretty big issue.
It's kind of a survivor film, I guess
Yeah.
you can kind of say, and vampire film.
Really good movie, man. Like good depiction of vampirism in a modern time. They don't sparkle.
Yeah, definitely.
Stakeland 2 is actually, I believe it's out now. I think there's a Stakeland 2. Going way back to 70s with Paul Naschy in Werewolf versus Vampire Woman. This movie has 10,000 other fucking titles.
Yes, it does.
But this was a cheap buy at some thrift store or some shit. I don't know where the hell I got this. But great movie. I liked it. I mean, you can't really go wrong with these Spanish or French horror films about vampires. I mean, you know, the Gothic cathedrals and just the buxom beauties, the bosoms, and, you know.
Oh, pushed up and...
God, You can't go wrong with this.
It's
shit,
a childhood wet dream, man, to watch these movies.
Nicely put, Ghoul. Yeah, Werewolf versus the... I almost said zombie woman. Yeah, vampire woman. Whatever.
Alright, now we are going to talk about the Pam Grier being in this one. Scream Blackula Scream. I almost screwed that up. What is this, 77?
Sequel to
73.
Blackula.
That this came out. You know, if you watch the original, you'll watch this one. It's just kind of another rehash of, the William Marshall character. So
you get to see him kick ass again and bite necks.
Yep. Not much different.
Good stuff. From 74, one of my favorite vampire films of all time. Vampires, I was talking about this earlier. Vampires with a Y is what I call it.
Yeah.
This was such a treat the first time I saw it. I remember that VHS as a kid with those two women in the fucking graveyard, blood coming down, and there's a castle in the back. So atmospheric, erotic horror at its best. Good lesbian vampire stuff. Brilliant stuff. Awesome.
Alright, I'm going to talk about one actually I thought was really well done. It was this 2013 called Phobia.
Never saw that one.
It is kind of a timepiece. Taken back to the early or late 19th century. Basically, this doctor comes through and helps this group of people that have a phobia of these, about some patients, some people that died, about them being vampires, and it turns out to be true. But he, at the whole story, he just tries to kind of get them to, get over their fears and things like that, and they end up having to go out and kill them and things like that.
What year is that?
2013.
Oh, fairly new then.
So it's a fairly new movie.
I don't know. I never saw that.
There's people in it. I know they're in other movies. I don't know who they are. They're all new actors and actresses.
There's so many movies called Phobia. Jesse Franco's Count Dracula with the immortal Christopher Lee.
With a mustache.
Absolutely. Depicted how Bram Stoker made him with that bushy mustache and yeah, dude, he had that. This is a real deal. This one was great, and of course my honey of all time, Soledad Miranda, plays Lucy in this, and yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that, but amazing film. We talked about Gladys Kinski before in this episode. He plays Renfield. very, very believable as a crazy guy. Of course, Claudius Kinski.
It
How the hell
crazy.
could she?
It looks crazy.
Yeah. Count Dracula is really good, man. Jesse Franco, one of his best films, in my opinion.
Alright, now we're moving on to another erotic film, Daughters of Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was from 1971. This was taken off the shelves for a lot of years because of just and they cut out. I remember there was times they cut out scenes of this movie because there's a lot of
boobage,
neuroeroticism, over sexual type movie.
Oh, yeah. Good lesbian shit.
Yeah, it's lesbian shit.
A lot of lesbian shit for vampires, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a classic here.
Rest in peace.
Yes,
oh my God, this
from
is
'87. We have.
We did talk about this one on the last episode with Bill Paxton.
Yes,
Of
Near
course,
Dark.
yeah.
He plays that cocky vampire, that southern drawl. Fucking, he just so great is so great as that vampire.
Yeah.
Of course, Lance Hendrickson is, I guess you could call him the leader of the pack. You know?
Yeah,
Tries to keep everyone in line, even though Bill Paxton's character is like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. I want to bite this guy. I don't fucking care. You're not gonna fucking teach me, you know."
Uncle Tommy.
Absolutely. This is a great film, guys. Near Dark. It kind of gets lost along with the Lost Boys because it came around the same time, but it's just as superior as Lost Boys, in my opinion.
Now we're moving on to Leaf Yonkers Darkness.
Oh yeah,
Vampire version.
I showed you that one. What'd you think about that one, dude?
Oh.
A lot of gooey shit in that one. Huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to just recall a lot of the shit that
It was
happened.
kind of like,
There's
they were
a
more
lot
like
of
zombies,
stuff,
but
man.
they were vampires. I mean, like you told me when we watched them, like, dude, I haven't seen like a lot of like really truly gory vampire movies, and
They
that
really
one takes
haven't
the
been.
cake.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always just remember the interstate scene.
Yeah.
And I made a comment to him, like, when they have that side shot and all these vampire zombie things are running up, walking up the street, and you see all the cars on the highway behind them. I'm sitting there going, could you just imagine what these people are thinking? Like, what are all these morons doing on the street?
They're all going to work, and there's a bunch of.
And the kid that walks up and his whole rib cage is exposed.
Yeah, open the cover up there. It'll slip up there. Yeah, that dude. Yeah. That part is great. They're all melting when the sun hits them, and
they're just like pulling themselves apart. They're just like, it's so cool.
Yeah, if you love gore, definitely check that one out. That's the goriest, hands down vampire movie you'll ever see.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like Dead Alive style, but with vampires.
With vampires, yeah.
And I believe that's Leaf's only film. Sadly, I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that's his only film. He did all the special effects, directing. He acted in. He's in so many scenes because he dies once and he comes back as another character.
As a vampire or something like that. Yeah.
That was a great film. I love that one. I have Paul Morrissey. Blood for Dracula, also known as Andy Warhol's Dracula.
Very expensive movie to find.
From what I hear, yeah.
The original copy.
It was fucking easy when I got it. So.
The original copy, though, when it's called Andy Warhol's Frankenstein or Dracula,
yeah,
or Frankenstein for that matter, he has both of them, and they're like $60-$70. They're ridiculous.
Oh wow. Yeah, this movie's great. Check that one out. Also, Flesh for Frankenstein.
From one Kronos to another, it's Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. It's basically a take on Van Helsing. It's a period piece. From Hammer, I believe, or Paramount put this out. It's a Hammer production. That's what I kept thinking. Hearst, Johnson, John Carson, all these other people.
Carolyn Monroe's in there.
Yep.
The beautiful Carolyn Monroe.
From 1974. It was a very hard film to find for a while, but now that Paramount put it out,
that's a classic.
Now it's like $3-4. You can pick that one up pretty cheap. So
that's a good one. I have kind of a modern one here. I actually enjoyed this one. I watched this one recently. It's from 2013. It's called Blackwater Vampire. Now, when you watch this film, you're automatically going to think found footage,
bullshit.
Blair Witch style shit.
Yeah.
And it really is because these kids are all lost in the woods and they're trying to figure out a mystery, kind of like Blair Witch. except it's about this serial killer. But there's such a complete 180 twist at the end of this. It was just kind of... I couldn't figure out if I liked it or not. You know, I really couldn't. I actually do like this movie, and there's a part in here that actually made me jump, and that's hard to do. The almighty skid goer, of course. Because I pretty much seen it all. But there's a part in this film where, you know, they hear a noise, they're in this tent, and they hear this noise and shit, and they're like, they got the camera or the flashlights on this fucking tree, and hanging from this tree is this creepy, you probably can't see him, this creepy little motherfucker right here. He's hanging from the tree, he's like, he's like, it totally reminded me of like a Nosferatu type, you know, face, like a Max Shrek type face stuff. It was really good, man. Blackwater Vampire, yeah, we love this one. That was a good one.
Alright, this is from 62.
Yeah, that's
very
an early
early
one.
Very early. Slaughter of the Vampires.
Oh, that's a great one.
I just remember the wood scene in this movie. I think that's the same movie.
Yeah, I mean, they're all heading up to the castle to destroy all the vampires.
And the vampires all show up and they like ambush them, and that's the really only scene I remember from this movie.
That's a good one.
I only saw it once, but
vampires look really good in that.
For being so old, it's
and
all
black and white.
It's all black and white.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's still, but it's got the thunderstorms, and it's got all that really cool like the lighting and stuff. You didn't have to worry about color.
It definitely crosses like a cross between like Hammer films too, except in black and white.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
Dark Sky put that one up. They actually put a good release. I got just the disc on that, but I don't actually have the case. Kind of sucks.
Oh yeah. That sucks.
I got it on one of those like fucking movie stores where they have those like little paper sleeves, and they just got.
The
yeah. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh, that'd be cool.
What a jip!
Yeah.
At least you got the film.
Yeah.
Now this is Bela Lugosi right after Dracula. He did one called Mark of the Vampire, directed by Todd Browning, who did, you know, the original Dracula. A very misanthropic type individual, to say the least. But he also did Freaks. But Bela Lugosi. This film, I gotta say, London After Midnight was a silent film with Lon Chaney, who played this demonic-looking vampire with a fucking top hat. It's an iconic. Ghouls got fucking shit pictures all over of him. But it's a very iconic image. But Todd Browning remade this film and called it Mark of the Vampire, and had Bela Lugosi play the Lon Chaney character in this. And it's kind of plays like a comedy kind of detective story mixed with horror.
Yeah.
I will say the God, I'm sorry, her name's not even on here, but the guy the chick rather, who plays this woman right here. Oh. She was very, very influential for the look of Morticia Addams, Vampira, and Lily Munster. So this was a very iconic look that definitely took off. You know, you can even see it in the Hammer films. Like kind of gothic long hair and the white shrouds and funeral shrouds. This was a fun movie. I enjoyed it.
Planet of the Vampires.
Oh, Mario Bava.
Great.
Space.
And it's actually, it's you always think this would be kind of a cheesy movie.
I did too.
It is not.
No, it's not.
It's gory. It
delivers, man.
You know, it's creepy. It's got a really cool, what the hell scene was that? Shit. I think all
I know is all those vampires took over that crew, and then they come back as vampires, and they don't know who. It's kind of like a Thing type like story.
A Thing type thing.
Yeah. Like you don't know who's who. You know, is this guy human? Right. Is he a vampire? This is my best friend. Do I fucking kill him, or do I try to understand him? And there's a total twist ending with that one as well. Mm-hmm. Mario Bava. Obviously, he's known for his cinematography as well as his great.
And it definitely worked in this one. He's got the music definitely works in this.
Yeah, the lighting
works well with the movie itself. Definitely.
Just the lighting alone, damn, that's great.
Damn.
Here's another modern one from 2006. I really enjoyed this one.
That's a good one.
From After Dark Horror Fest, called The Hamiltons. There's also a sequel called The Thompsons, which is also good. But this is the first one called The Hamiltons. Really good story about, you know, a breakdown of a family, really. You know, they lose their parents, who are obviously vampires, and there's this one guy that tries to run the roost, basically, and he's got this deranged family around him where nothing's quite right. Like, he's got this gothic sister who just takes pride in torturing people and stuff, and she's really hot, by the way. And then there's this young kid who's just a teenager trying to find his acceptance in life, really, and just kind of going through the grown-up shit, you know. But he's a vampire, and he just wants to be loved, and he's sick of the vampire lifestyle. He's sick of the vampire lifestyle, so he wants to be accepted in society. But how can you when you're a vampire? You gotta hide your identity, right? And save the family. It's all about the family. The Hamiltons.
All right, we're going back to 1994. Sorry. Interview with a Vampire, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. Of course, this was like the over-sexualized, you know, you had all the sexy women of the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Well, the 90s had to be the sexy men, apparently. I remember for quite a long time, my parents would never let me watch this movie just because of the over-sexualization that was in it. Because there's nudity in it. There's, you know, they wouldn't let me see it for that reason. It had nothing to do with the monsters or any of that shit. It was because of it.
You weren't scared of Tom Cruise at all?
Having sex with another woman? Yeah, that's pretty scary. But again, this was one of those things came out. Bram Stoker's Dracula before that. You know, this was like Hollywood's attempt at doing it. And actually, back in the day, they did it well because they actually fucking took the time to write a good movie.
Yep.
You know, yes, it's an old story, but they decided to do kind of a different angle at it, and it fucking worked.
Definitely an race adaptation, too.
And for the fact that these idiots in Hollywood can't write an original movie anymore is beyond me. But that's it for another day.
You go back to 70. Wow, another Soledad Miranda starring role is Vampire Lesbos.
Vampiros
Lesbos, yes. Jesse Franco. Who else could have directed this, right? The King of Sleaze, pretty much.
Yeah.
And sadly, you know, obviously, Soledad died. I think she died shortly after this film. I know she was on her way to a film set and she got in a really bad car accident. And she was actually on her way for a film of Jesse's. And like I said, she got in a bad car accident. But she is so great. She's got that. She's one of the hottest women I've ever fucking seen on screen. Honestly, hands down. She's just lesbian vampire.
All right, we're moving on. Ingrid Pitt, Countess Dracula.
Speaking of hot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This was from what 70.
71, I believe, or 70. 71, I think. Or Countess Dracula was before.
70.
70? Alright.
Yeah, they're both 70.
Oh,
and,
okay.
of course,
Roy
you know,
Ward Baker.
sexy women as, you know, countesses. How could you go wrong as a guy? Just hot, beautiful women, man. This one she said.
Directed by Roy Ward Baker, starring Peter Cushing as a very pissed off general because Carmilla fucking kills his daughter, so he wants revenge.
Yep.
And then this other father has experienced vampirism, and they kind of just join forces and just kind of
take
the Karstein family out. It's fucking cool. That's a great film. 1,000 things have been done with vampires. What on earth can we do with vampires next? I know. We'll make them lesbians.
Brilliant. Damn that interview.
Yes. Oh, another modern one here. 2012, I believe. Byzantium. This is really a good movie as well.
Oh.
Long as fucking hell, but it goes fast.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's a slow burner.
Yeah, definitely slow burner from IFC Films.
Yeah.
This was a good one, definitely.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on. Lust for a Vampire, another Hammer film.
Ooh.
Another black magic kind of brings upon...
Another Karstein film.
Yeah, kind of brings on the vampires.
That's the sequel to Vampire Lovers that we were just talking about, actually.
So, yeah.
That's a lot of good boobage in that one.
A lot of the shit in Hammer films you'll probably see in the Hammer episode, which is probably why it won't be for a while. But
yeah, we'll do a sexual amicus Hammer. For
yeah.
Sure. Here's another. This is probably one of our favorites, modern vampire films in 2007. 30 Days of Night. Now this movie.
I saw that in theaters.
You saw this in theaters?
Yeah.
Shit, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, this one was really good.
That's
The blood in the snow. I mean,
oh.
just the way it was shot, just alone with the the.
It's in the remote Alaska.
Yeah,
area,
yeah,
like
yeah.
North Dakota, wherever the hell it was.
Absolutely,
Where
based
it's
on a
like-
comic by Steve Niles.
Where it's just like complete snow blizzard and all the lights and shit go out. And there's just this one straight between all the houses or these outbuildings, and it's just you gotta stay in the light and stuff. All right, we're moving on to Dan Curtis's Dracula with Jack
Palance.
Fucking that up.
Don't fuck it up like me last time and say Jack Pleasance. I said that last time.
Jack Palance, of course, from City Slickers. Everybody knows him from...
And Batman! He gets blown away by the Joker.
And Batman plays Curly's Gold.
That's right. He's playing a mean-ass vampire now.
But yeah, it's a really cool... It's just another take on the Bram Stoker story.
Directed by Dan Curtis, who brought us Dark Shadows. And that movie has a lot of dark shadows, let me say that.
Yes, it does.
Jack Palance is great, man. Another Dracula kind of fell through the crack, kind of like Frank Langella. Just kind of guys that played the character, but you never hear from again.
Yep.
I mean, you hear from him again, but, just that one role sonifies him with honor, and that definitely...
That's one of those movies that people know.
Absolutely. Here's a modern one. I'm too drunk to see the fucking date on this. I don't really know.
It's like 2011 or something like that.
Yeah, this is a crazy batshit movie. Vampire
Gore.
Girl versus Frankenstein Girl.
Total gore. It's like Tokyo Gore Police.
Yeah. It's insane. Check it out.
Yes, lots of blood. Of course, James Woods and John Carpenter's Vampires.
Oh, yeah.
2000. I think it was 2000. Or no, that was Dracula 2000. 2005. Actually, it's a really cool movie.
Yeah, 98. 1998. Yeah. That was 98. I remember that came out. I was in high school. I was in school at the time.
But yeah, definitely cool to see John Carpenter kind of get into the whole vampire thing. I was kind of iffy on it because, everybody knew it from Halloween and stuff. And when I saw this, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, it's probably another bullshit thing, but it's actually not a bad movie.
No, it's not. And Daniel Baldwin was actually not bad in it.
Daniel Baldwin.
That was a good one. I remember that hooker at the hotel. She was hot. She was cool. John Landis film here from 1992 called Innocent Blood. This was a fun one. And John Landis, obviously known for American Werewolf of London, Schlock, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's he has fun with his films, and this one is no exception. Really good vampire tale. Really fun film. Innocent Blood.
The one cover, I always remember Vampire Circus, and the last Hammer film I got, and actually the last film I have. This is actually really kind of a cool thing. It's just this girl that gets killed, and the townspeople seek revenge, and it's got a lot of cool blood in it, things like that. It's definitely a lot of fun, Vampire Circus.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I enjoyed that one. This is our last modern vampire film, and both me and Ghoul adore this film a lot, from 2014.
Such a Nosferatu throwback.
Yes, it's an Irish vampire film. This one I really want you guys to check out. It's called From the Dark. This movie just screams atmosphere. There it is again.
Oh, yeah.
But it does, because you got that countryside, that vampire crawling out of his grave, the fact that they can't go near the light, even like
any light,
any light. That's cool. That's a cool concept, really.
And the fact that it's kind of takes place mainly in this one house.
Yeah.
This farmhouse, and this chick gets stuck in, and she's got this camera with this green light that she basically, it's the only way she can see what's going on.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, she doesn't know jack shit in that house.
It's what's really creepy,
and it's she's got I remember one scene where she's up on a staircase and she's got that lamp or whatever pointed.
Yeah.
So he can't come up the stairs, but he's down there because you can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how the hell do you get down from that? They're
smart vampires too. They're smart enough to turn the stove on, and they try to coax these people out
to get out. Yeah.
And they want to get to that vehicle.
Yep.
Or was it a tractor or something?
The tractor.
Yeah. This was a great film.
Movie.
This one definitely knocked my socks off for sure for vampire films.
All right, now I'm going to do John Malkovich as
great film.
Nosferatu. It's another take on it, Shadow of the Vampire. Very weird movie. It's kind of almost like Nosferatu's part of a movie or some shit.
Yeah, William Dafoe's in that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the filming of Nosferatu. Like, if Nosferatu was actually real vampire,
and
that's
they were
pretty
making
much
a
what
movie
that
about
is.
it and shit. And it's definitely a good movie because he actually really is kind of a shy person. He's very like not a happy man at all.
He is
very bitter.
William Dafoe, one of my favorite roles of his.
Very
man.
bitter.
Shadow of the Vampire was also directed by the dude that also brought us Begotten, which is an insanely hard to find movie. But that's a good one as well. This is my last film. Ghoul has one more, and we'll present the last one because, quite frankly, the last one is probably on most people's list as far as one of the greatest vampire films ever made. But this one, personally, is one of mine. This monster list was never in any order either. We just kind of grabbed whatever the fuck we grabbed, you know. But this one is one of my personal favorites. From '71, it was originally a TV movie called Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Now, this movie, you want to talk atmosphere, Jack. This one fucking has it.
72?
71. This one was amazing. Just the water scene alone, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Just seeing her in the water, coming up in that dress that she never got to wear on her wedding. And
if you knew the story.
Yeah, this is a great movie to check out. You can find it, on Amazon or whatnot, and I highly suggest it. This movie really falls through the cracks. This is a great one. Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
And of course, Fright Night.
Her last
that backwards. Holy shit. Fuck that.
Fucked it all up.
What can't you say about Fright Night, man? This is
take
like
it away.
It's 85. Such a fun movie. Charlie Brewster. Great
You're so cool, Brewster.
Way cool, Brewster. Or no.
You're so cool, Brewster.
Yeah.
That was a great
It's
one.
just, I love this movie. Roddy McDowell, of course, is in this as well.
Chris Sarandon is
Amanda,
Gary Dandridge, I believe his name is. The head vampire.
If you
Basically a movie like if you live next door to a vampire.
If you don't know Fright Night, get the hell
you
out of here.
Also, Fright Night Part 2, I will say, with Louis the Werewolf, it's fucking great. I love that one as well. But guys, that was a huge, monstrous list. And we hope you all stayed with us that long. And you got a couple good titles out of there. A couple good titles, my ass. Fucking went through our collection pretty much. But that was a lot of fun to do. Obviously, like Ghoul said before, vampires are a huge part of horror cinema. And we're no experts at all on the genre, but we do our homework when it comes to good films. And definitely you saw some old and goldies in here.
And you see some new ones that we hope you guys check out. So, with that being said, I am Ghoul.
I'm Skidgore. We'll see you next time. Don't ever watch Vampires That Sparkle on Descent into Horror!
And here's the last of the blood.
Check it out.
You must, or he won't die. You pray, you're a priest. You pray, you pray. He won't die. He isn't going to die.